we've covered the keyword research, we've covered the paid ads. We're now going to go into the SEO. So if we go back here, and we're going to talk about the sort of the optimization points, if you like, of SEO. So the first one we talk about is the URL. So here we remember we spoke about the permalink and the slug. So that's how we would do that section of it. We've then got page titles. So we know 65 to 70 characters. We also know that we've got the option of doing a SEO title, and again, the page title and SEO title, 65 to 70 characters, but you can actually change them. So they don't have to be the same, is what I'm saying. We're then talking about content on the page, which we haven't really spoken about, but I tend to aim for ideally at least 200 words. So you need to have enough content on the page that Google understands the context of what that page is about. So if I said the cat sat on the mat, is it about the mat? Is it about the cat? There's not enough content on there for it to understand what the page is actually about. So we've got to make sure that we've got enough content on there that there's some sort of context to it. The next thing we look at is the meta description. And again, we spoke about the meta description earlier. It's here, 150, 160 characters. And again, this is about our unique propositions. Remember, we're building an advert. Yeah, so although it's called a snippet, it's an advert to the world. We're making a snippet, something that is going to excite somebody enough that they're going to click on that actual link. Meta keywords. So if you're talking to a digital marketer who's younger than me, and most of them are, I'm sorry to say, then obviously they would say to you, oh, don't worry about those keywords because Google doesn't use them. The thing is, at the moment, let's say that Google accounts for, say, 70, 80% of the traffic. There's still that 20% possibly who are using those keywords. So therefore, what I say to people is, if you're using a CMS, a content management system, and there's a space to put in the keywords, it's not going to hurt to put those keywords in. So wherever possible, put those keywords in. Next thing we're going to talk about is images on a page. So most of your pages are going to need an image with it, and we need to fill out what's called the alternative text, okay, the alt tag. So the reason this is important, last March, so I'm just going to write in fence here, and you'll notice that next to your snippets, your adverts to the world, you start to see they've got a picture next to them. So it mainly happens with products, and the reason for this is that a lot of people now do image searches. So if, for example, I was trying to sell you a fence, and I said, okay, what sort of fence would you like? And you say to me, how do I describe what sort of fence? It's a fence. You know, how do I describe that? So what people are now doing, of course, is they'll go to the image search and they'll say, that's the fence I want. I want a fence just like that one. So that's the idea between the alternative text. And so that is a big part of SEO as well. So you need to name all your images using the alternative text. The last and final part that I'll be thinking about in terms of SEO is my internal linking strategy. And I'm going to talk to you about that in the next section when I talk to you on content. So hopefully you're starting to begin to understand how the strategy integrates. And so, you know, all these people who are just doing Facebook ads or just doing paid advertising, what you need is the integration of the channels, because at this stage you don't know what's working for you. But when you get the foundation stones done, yeah, everything else you do online relies on that work. All your social media, so there may be questions, you can drive them back to your website. If you're doing email marketing, whatever you put in the, what affects open rates is what you put in the title of the email. is going to reflect how many people open that. So it's really, really important to get these foundations of your website correct, and then obviously start indexing and submitting all your URLs. So now we're going to move on to the content strategy. And so the content strategy, I'm going to use this pet site that you might recognize. And again, the content strategy is a very, very important part of the overall plan. So again, I'm just going to briefly shoot over this, but we're looking at, we should have a mega menu here. An affiliate site, by the way, is if you click on the link, it takes you through to another website. If somebody buys a product there, then obviously I make commission on the sale. So this is more of a test site, and there's lots of mistakes and errors on it. It is literally a training site. So the one thing to show of interest here, if you haven't picked it up already, is this is where some people would put the word blog. So I haven't used the word blog because everyone's got a blog. So what's it about? So what I've done is I put in pet questions because I know there's 40 people every month looking for pet questions. We've then got cat questions, dog questions, reptile questions. So if we click on dog questions, things to note are, first of all, at the top here, we've got in the slug, we've got dog questions. Yeah, you'll notice here there's an image missing, but you can see what I've called the image. And then what you've got here is this dog accessories. So this dog accessories here is what's known as I've lost my train of thought. I can't think of the name of it, but it's meaningful. That's what it is. It's meaningful anchor text. So you'll notice I haven't just put in accessories because that could be horse accessories, dog accessories, it could be, I don't know, men's accessories. So even though we're in the dog section, if you put accessories, you're assuming that people would understand that, and most people would. But what you have to remember is we're actually optimizing for the robot crawlers in order to get your website listing higher on the search engine results page. So what we've done is this meaningful anchor text is meaningful. Yeah, if you have not meaningful anchor text, that's things like click here, read more. It doesn't mean anything to anyone. So you've got to make it something that is meaningful, and when they click on it, it goes to a web page. Yeah, so you click on it, hyperlink to another page, and in there you'll find dog accessories is going to be up here in the slug. So every page is optimized the same. Every page has the slug, has the H1 heading, has content, it has an image which you would name the alt text, etc., etc. All part of the SEO. So in this example, if we scroll down the page, you'll come to all the questions that people are asking about their dogs, and then you come to this really silly question, which is, why does my dog lick me? Okay, I know it's a ridiculous question, but you might be surprised to hear and to see, if we go back to and use our Keywords Everywhere tool, and we'll just type that in there, paste it in, what you can see is there's actually 2,400 people every month typing in the word, yeah, or the phrase, why does my dog lick me? So it's obviously really popular. And so what we want to do is we want to know, we know this page is popular, we want to drive as much traffic into this page as possible. So one way to do that is if you go back to the Keyword Everywhere tool on the search engine results page and just press the space bar, what this is going to do is it's also got the prime question, which is why does my dog lick me, which runs through all of these, and then you've got so much. There's another 3,600 at 6p. Yeah, we've got when I pet her, so patter. That's 480 searches, 24p. A lot when we cuddle, etc., etc. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a paid advertising campaign. We're going to put all these keywords into our paid ads. We're going to drive even more traffic. So this page, which was worth say 2,400 visitors a month, potentially, is now worth 6,000. So what's going to happen is, as people click on the adverts, they're going to be really low cost. We know that because, again, the tool is telling us the maximum price they're just skimming over is 24p. Yeah. So what's going to happen is, you're going to drive all the traffic into this page. They're going to find the answer to the prime question, which is, why does my dog lick me? They're going to stay on the page. Yeah. And as they stay on the page, Google sees they're staying on the page, so therefore it must be relevant, and that is what's going to push up your snippet, your advert to the world in the search engine results page is going to go higher. So you can start again to see how all this interlinking and the integration of the channels and strategies is now beginning to work. So that's one way to do a content strategy. The other way to do a content strategy, and let me just get rid of this and we'll open up here, is, you'll see here we've got just a quick one. So this is an LED lighting company. We've got basically the keyword research on all the different products and services they offer, and one of those are floodlights. And if we click on floodlights, we can see our draft one copy. We've got our positive negative list. We've got the positive data with all of our actual data that we're going to be using. You can see two other folders there. I've made those because they are questions that people are asking, and then I want to identify what questions are the most popular, so I can sort of start with those on my social media, if you like. So the same thing with your content needs to happen as you've done with your keyword research. So each of your keyword, your content, each of your products and services needs its own content strategy. So each one of these, again, is the content, and you'll see this one down the bottom, which is floodlight halogen bulb. So if we open that up and we just make it a little bit bigger, the name of the spreadsheet here is floodlight halogen bulb. So we know if we want to target this keyword, we also need to target these keywords. How do we know that? Because what we've done is we've gone to the search engine results page. We've gone through all of this, all of the URLs. We've found the keywords that run through it all. And again, you'll know all this already. So I'm just sort of skimming over it. We've got all of our questions, and we know that the all this content here, so if we got rid of here as an example, we're going to answer the questions. These ones here are all of our keywords, along with our keywords at the front here. This is basically going to make up our internal linking strategy. So 2 years ago, it used to take us 4 days to do a content plan. 1 year ago, when ChatGPT came out, we started using this GPT, which you may still even be using today, which is basically write me a blog, use this in the title, use these keywords, do this, do that, mention the brand, send them to a URL. Then you've got one for your tweets, you've got one for your audiences, your LinkedIn. But of course, even at that stage, the ChatGPT couldn't actually get onto the internet itself. So we went from 2 years ago, a year ago, we were using this. It probably cut the time in half, so we went from 4 days to 2 days. And now, of course, we use our ChatGPT prompt to do that. So again, what we can do is if you're in the course, then obviously you'll have this ChatGPT, and I'm always updating it. So the URL will remain the same, but obviously the content will become better. If you want custom GPTs that are primarily for your business and focus on keywords that you want and don't want, then you can obviously contact me. and I can help you with that. So let's just put in the word breakfast as an example here, and then we'll just take our keywords, to our chat. Okay, so there's a nice picture of a continental and a full English breakfast. That looks nice, doesn't it? So what we can then do is, it's not reading the prompt correctly, so what we'll do is we'll use keyword research again. Breakfast is slightly vague, so this will work better anyway. So if we put in keyword research, and so it's telling you exactly what keyword research is and giving you some content ideas, and it's not doing what I want it to do. So quite often with GPTs you have to sort of almost tell it off. So what I'm going to do is read the prompt. And so if you've been in the course, you'll know the outcome of this. And so that is basically the methodology that you would use from start to finish. It's now asking for our URL. I'll just pop that in there. But basically you can now start to understand why the strategy works. It's a proven data strategy. I hope you've enjoyed the course. If you would like me, obviously in English, to be able to provide you with some analysis on your website, so obviously we do have a done for you service, and we do offer a free session where we will apply our methodology directly to your website, so for training purposes, that type of thing. And at the end of that you can then decide, do I want to do the course, or do I want these guys to do this for me? And then you can obviously choose whichever one's best for you. So I hope you've enjoyed the course. If you've got any questions on the course, please contact me. Join me on LinkedIn. You'll find me quite simple. Just type in James Pybus, and I'm obviously in Aylesbury in the UK. Thank you.